Hi, I'm Jillian, expert of the wilderness, and on today's episode of Jillian's Survival Guide, I'm going to be teaching you a very important skill to winter camping. I'm going to be teaching you how to build a Quinzhee. Now some of you may be wondering, what is a Quinzhee? Well, basically a Quinzhee is a shelter made entirely out of snow. Snow is piled into a big pile and then hollowed out. Whether you're out on a fun camping trip or you're trying to survive in the wilderness, a Quinzhee is a great option for shelter and is guaranteed to keep you warm. It's a good option because it makes no impact on the environment, since eventually it melts and leaves no garbage or mess behind. Building a Quinzhee is a big part of your winter camping trip to Temagami. So if you're thinking, I have no idea how to build a Quinzhee, keep watching and I'll show you how. So, without further ado, let's head on up to Temagami and get started. The first step to building a Quinzhee is finding a good location. You want to find a spot where the ground or ice is nice and solid. Then, you want to determine how big you will need to make your Quinzhee, depending on the number of people that will be sleeping in it. You do this by getting the people who will be sleeping in the Quinzhee to lie down on their backs. Then, you trace an outline around them to help you figure out how wide the Quinzhee will need to be. Next, you want to pile the inside of the outline you just created with snow. The pile should be quite tall, around 7 to 8 feet tall approximately, in order to comfortably fit everyone inside. It is good to do this in a team in order to get the job done faster, since Quinzhee building takes time. Then, once you and your group are happy with the size of your Quinzhee, you want to leave it overnight to allow the snow to solidify and harden. Once you come back the next day, the Quinzhee should be nice and firm and ready to be hollowed out. Before hollowing out your Quinzhee, you want to find sticks that are about a foot long, so go out and search for some. These will then be stuck into the Quinzhee surface and will act as a guideline to help you to avoid digging out your Quinzhee walls too thin. You want to have the branch sticking out about 2 inches so you can remove it later. The Quinzhees will end up looking sort of like a porcupine. Next, it is time to start digging out your entrance. You want your entrance to be opposite to the way the wind is blowing. After your entrance is shoveled and a person is able to crawl through, all you have to do is hollow out the rest of your Quinzhee. You want to hollow out your Quinzhee from the top down. Once you can see some daylight through the walls, begin digging a little more carefully. Once you see the end of the sticks, know it is time to stop hollowing. Now make any last final touches by removing any excess snow inside and by nicely shaving the walls to smooth out the edges. You want to make sure that on the floor of your Quinzhee, you have left a layer of snow rather than digging all the way to the ice, since this snow is a layer of insulation. After building, make sure to change into warm, dry clothing, since Quinzhee building is hard work and will cause you to sweat. Put a candle in your Quinzhee to allow the inner surface to glaze over and solidify. Then, you can head into your Quinzhee and call it a night. Thanks for tuning in on today's episode of Jillian's Survival Guide. I hope you learned a lot about Quinzhee building and will be able to use what you've learned on your future winter Temagami trip.